Okay, so first and foremost, I want to issue an apology, okay? I was gone this weekend. I uploaded thumbnails to the videos, but for some reason they did not come up. I noticed it late, and then I just tried to make do with what I had, which was only my cell phone, so I can just add any thumbnail on there. So I'm really sorry for these terrible thumbnails over the past couple days. A big shout out to those who actually still watch the video. But I did want to discuss this game because some people ask, Clan, did you actually watch this one? Because this was probably the worst one of the season. I have to say I did, and there's one thing that happened in particular that I feel is very, very telling.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, let's dive straight into this one, okay? I'll just give you my overall thoughts about this game. I think that the San Antonio Spurs suck, okay? I think that they're pretty doggone bad. I think that they need way more talent, which it will happen, okay? I don't think that it's one of those things where it's like the 100% fault of the franchise right now. Look, you're on your first step. You just got your generational talent, whatever. Maybe second step. First step is tank. Second step, get your generational talent. They got it pretty quickly, and now it's a matter of starting to clean up this roster. And, you know, it's tryouts this season. Let's be real, okay? Who can hang with Wemby and who can't? And I had to tell you guys, there's a lot of players that cannot. They cannot, at least in the position they're in right now. So first and foremost, this game alone, it's nothing that really shocked me, okay? I've said this many of times. I've been very open about it. I saw some people trying to bring up the fact that Sochan had a point. They're like, Clan, Sochan had a point. He was absolutely trash. And I'm like, yeah, he wasn't that good in this game. But once again, I say this all the time. I don't really care as far as the points that Sochan scores, okay? I think that he's capable of giving you quite a few points. 1 point is god awful. I'm not gonna excuse it, but at the same time, this game he didn't shoot. Like he went 0 for 5. He said, I am not gonna sit here and force any shots. I'm just gonna do my job. And what is that? Trying to be a connector, trying to be a defender. And he did pretty decently defensive wise, as he normally does. He did fine individually defensive wise. So there's a reason to keep him on the court. All right. Even Champagnie, as bad as Champagnie is, especially as a starter, okay, he will be fine if he's coming off the bench. He is just not a starter. But even as bad as he's been offensively, defensively, you can still find a reason to keep him in the game, right? 2 steals, 1 block. He did fine. Wemby is an absolute monster. I would consider this one of his not greatest games, and it was still absolutely phenomenal. 5 blocks is crazy. 22 points. I think that he has 38 blocks in the month of February, and that's more than everybody's team. Everybody's team. It's absolutely crazy. He's leading the NBA in blocks in the month of February by himself. That's mind-blowing. And some people say, oh, it's just because he's tall. Yeah, shut up. You don't know basketball. That was mean. Trey Jones, once again, even he had a fine game, but even if he's having a bad game, you have a reason to keep him on the court. Okay, his facilitation skills, defense is okay. He's just undersized. It is what it is. Devin Vassell, same thing. But guys, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Your boy, Keldon Johnson. I mean, oh my God. I've said this so many times, and I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, Keldon's the only one that's gotten this treatment. If you don't know what happened, Keldon Johnson came into the game, gave up some points pretty quickly, had a terrible 4-point play in which he fouled Lauri, right? Lauri Markkanen. Just dreadful, just god awful defense. I feel like as this season has gone on, and I think this happens every season, he just seems heavier. I don't know what that's about. You know, we already know that he has, you know, kind of a slow lateral. We know that the way that he moves on the court isn't pretty as we'd like. But yeah, it also just seems like he like packs on weight as the season goes on. I don't know what that's about. But who knows? But yeah, dude, he played, like, this says 4 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes. Keldon Johnson played 3 minutes that entire game. He was absolutely unplayable. And I know that Popovich wanted to set a message, right, of accountability. And I know he didn't mean any harm by it or anything like that. This is why Pop is a great coach, and I continuously say this all the time, that people say he doesn't do anything. It's like, look, the losses are clouding your judgment here, okay? We just don't have a very talented team. The losses is just clouding it, because I think he is a phenomenal coach. And if he wasn't on the Spurs right now, I guarantee you every single team will be attempting to give him a crazy contract. So we got a great coach here. But man, oh man, Keldon, I've said this over and over again. He's one of those players where it's like, if he's not scoring, I don't see a point in him being on the court. I mean, his defense has been dreadful. His facilitation has been okay, but not really. Most of the time he forces stuff. I've seen a dynamic between him and Sochan, and this was a while, and I'm not saying that this means that they got beef or anything like that. It's purely on the court. But I've seen plays in which Sochan has gotten a little frustrated with Keldon forcing a shot. Like, for instance, it was that one game, gosh, you guys are better than I am with this, but it was one game a few games back in which the team was playing really well together, cohesive, passing the ball, distributing, and it was very even. And then as soon as Keldon came into the game, he forced a shot on like 3 defenders, and you can see Sochan throw his hands up like, what are you doing? And then it happened again later on in that game in which Keldon forced it, and Sochan's like, what was that, right? So I don't think that means that they have some beef or nothing like that, but it at least shows that the team has a plan going into these games, and Keldon, oftentimes the ball starts and ends with him. Now, with that being said, doesn't necessarily mean that he's the reason for all of these losses. That would be absolutely crazy, insane. If you had a talented enough team, Keldon Johnson wouldn't cause you to lose. I mean, he makes a few late game decisions, but if you have a talented enough team, you can elect to have somebody else in the game in those situations and have Keldon more of a spark plug off the bench in the second quarter, third quarter, something like that. But unfortunately, we don't have that right now. So yeah, he stands out like a sore thumb at times, and that's the reason why. But at least our starters, they did a pretty decent job distributing. You can see Julian Champagny had 4 assists, Sochan had 3, Vic 2, 9 from Trey, 5 from Devin. So they did a fine job trying to give each other the ball. Defense was fine. I mean, look at all these steals. They had 8 steals. They had 11 blocks, half of which was from Wemby. But nonetheless, impressive. And I did think that there were many instances in this game in which Sochan, Devin, and Wemby played off each other pretty well. Like, passing the ball wise, it looked pretty good. But, you know, you just don't have the talent. Now, the reason why I brought up Keldon specifically is because of this. This is pretty bad, guys. So Mitch Johnson basically said why Keldon Johnson was benched, and he's just honest. He's just blatantly honest about it.
Just repetitive mistakes. Sometimes you need to change up the messaging or change up the accountability or how you do things, and Pop's the best at it.
And one thing, too, about this is, as we know, Wemby has complained about this as well, right? Like, Wemby hasn't complained directly, like, towards anybody specifically, like, directly towards Keldon, nothing like that. But he said many a times that you got to look at the scouting report, right? He says that we're having a hard time not paying attention to the scouting report. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm watching these games, and I'm not here, guys, I'm telling you, I'm not here to just sit here and nitpick or anything like that. I try to pay attention to how other players are moving on the court, if they're attentive or not. And I feel like a lot of times, And I feel like a lot of times Keldon is in his own world, man. And it's too many mistakes to be the longest tenured Spur. It's very frustrating that continuously happens. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see what the Spurs do. If they elect to keep Keldon, it's fine. They're going to add more talent. It's just going to be some growing pains in the coming days. But if they were to trade him, I think that's fine too. I'm getting kind of frustrated because I look at this team and it's like, okay, I understand. And I've never been the one to say, trade this player. But it's like, you can't stand out this bad when our team is already this bad. Why is it that certain players, and Keldon's one of them, they stand out as being really bad when we already have a really bad team. I don't necessarily think, now Sohan had a bad game, right? But I don't necessarily, and he's super young, by the way. I don't even know if I should compare, but he's 20 years old. But I don't really get that vibe with Sohan. I don't get that vibe with Vassell. Obviously, Wemby is the one like standout. I don't get that vibe with Blake Wesley. Even if he could go 0 points in a game, and I don't get that. I feel like he's attentive. He's making good plays. He's in there. It's just he lacks experience, right? And he's still working on his skill set. I don't even necessarily feel that way all the way with Chetty Osman, where it's like he's a standout that makes us look even worse. It's like Keldon just stands out, man. It's frustrating too. It's very frustrating. And this has nothing to do with me not liking Keldon, because I genuinely like Keldon. I think he's a really nice guy. Like, I think he's cool. Like, I want this to be able to work out. But I've been watching all these games, and it's not just this season. It's many of seasons now. I don't think that he's improved that much as a player. If anybody has any examples or any counter statements to what I'm saying, that's fine. I'll read it. I'll see what you got to say. Me personally, I haven't seen that much improvement from Keldon. I haven't since maybe his second year. I just have not seen that improvement. I don't know. So anyways, I will get with you guys later. Wait, he's trending. Oh, guys, this is something dumb. Why would the Spurs purposefully devalue their best player trade asset? Wow. 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 What a wow. Oh, that's so funny. That's messed up. They put it in reverse. Okay, I didn't know. This is back at February 17th, though. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, I'm sure you guys would ask about this, Mamu. I do like Mamu and whatnot. Like, I think he's a decent player. I think if we get a huge sample size of him, though, I don't think Spurs fans would care for watching him that much. I mean, he's one of those players that there's no great scouting report on right now. He rarely plays, so he's gonna look a little bit better. But he's a fine role player, and I never thought that he makes the team worse or he's something that stands out. It's like, oh my god, this is a sore thumb. He does a really good job of distributing the ball, taking high IQ shots and all that. I don't know if he's as good as people or Spurs fans try to make him out to be at times, but yeah, he's fine. He's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the end of the season, honestly. I mean, I'm going to watch the games. I'm enjoying watching Wemby. I'm enjoying the growth of certain players. But man, oh man, this is whew. Game like that last one is one of those that's hard to watch. But anyways, I'll give it to you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.